Pokemon is an obscure video game series created in 1996 where you command what are essentially animals to fight for your and their amusement. Yes, contrary to what parodies PETA may put out, Pokemon enjoy fighting. But what about the other half that PETA disagrees with? The eating? Well, Pokemon are fictional and therefore impossible to consume, but many of them hold parallels to real-life things. Surely it would not be too out of touch to say a Shelder would taste better than a Mankey? With that in mind, if Pokemon were to become real because of science, these are the ones I would most want to eat. Number 10. For number 10, we have a tie. Pokemon Moon describes Bound Sweet Sweat as too sugary for human consumption, but that just sounds like a challenge to me. In any case, another sweet fruity Pokemon to eat would be Cherubi, of which the earliest Pokédex entries say the small ball on its head is sweet and tasty. If you were to take the two of these ingredients and put them in a blender, I'm sure you can make an amazing drink. The only problem is that the small ball is Cherubi's initial food source, so other methods would have to be taken to make sure the Pokemon does not starve to death once it's removed. While you technically do not directly eat either of these Pokemon, the prospect of the blended beverage is appealing enough for me to say that I want to try it. Number 9. Do you know how we can solve world hunger if Pokemon were real? By making food out of Zubat. These fuckers are everywhere. Problem is, I do not know how bat soup would taste and I hope to never find out, so maybe we can use another overly abundant Pokemon. How about Bidoof? With a diet of logs and berries, I can only assume the meat of a Bidoof would have a very earthy flavor to it. Plus, at around 44 pounds each, it would take a lot fewer Bidoof than Zubat to feed a starving population. Number 8. Bay leaves are a very common cooking spice, somewhat similar to oregano and thyme, used to enhance the flavor of soups, stews, and braises. You might already know where I'm going with this. Were someone to prepare a bay leaf, the Pokemon, it would come with its own spices. Bay leaf loses a few points because it resembles a dinosaur, and nobody knows exactly what they taste like. At least it will be accompanied with the flavor of bay leaves. Number 7. The obvious reason to put Ditto on just about any Pokemon list ever is because it can be any Pokemon, but that is not the reason I want to eat Ditto. Were someone to mix Ditto with generous amounts of sugar, I think it would essentially become edible chewing gum. For all we know, the shiny version may even be blue raspberry flavor. Just make sure the Ditto has passed before preparation and consumption. Number 6. Perhaps the newest entry to the list, Appleton is described in the Pokemon Shield Pokédex as a body covered in sweet nectar, and the skin on its back is especially yummy. Children used to have it as a snack. If, canonically, humans in the Pokemon universe have eaten parts of this creature before, it has to be good. The real question is to why the children only used to eat Appleton's skin. It's not like they couldn't heal the Appleton at a Pokemon Center. Number 5. Farfetch'd's entire gig is based around being food. There's a Japanese saying that I will not even try to utter properly, translating to, a duck comes bearing bunching onions, referring to fortunate happenstance. Basically, Farfetch'd is supposed to be a duck carrying its own complimentary food item. Take a Farfetch'd and you are already halfway to a delicious soba. Number 4. The anime essentially had an entire episode talking about the wonders of Miltank's milk. Based on what I can gather, it is apparently cow's milk, but approximately 500 times better in both nutrition and flavor. The only real downside here is that eating a Miltank would probably be analogous to eating a dairy cow, but apparently we already do that when we eat hamburgers, as 15% of all beef consumed in the USA comes from dairy cows. It is not as high quality meat as one bred for its meat, but it will certainly do. Number 3. Combuskin is basically a giant 40-pound chicken. Presumably, it being a fire-type Pokemon would also give it a spicier flavor, and you can use one Combuskin's flamethrower to cook another if you wanted to, you sick bastard. Raising Combuskin for slaughter might prove to be troublesome, however, as they are known to be very noisy, even more noisy than the average rooster. Number 2. If Miltank is a dairy cow, Tauros is a meat cow. Of all the entries in this list, this one probably needs the least explanation. There really is not much more to say here. We have 2 honorable mentions. Mew has the DNA of every Pokemon, known, unknown, and unknown. This could be problematic in terms of eating it because it would taste of a mishmash of every Pokemon, including Magnemite, but Mew also knows the power of Transform, meaning it can be any Pokemon it wants to be. Basically, Mew is like Ditto but without the default chewing gum form. I don't know what a Wobbuffet is supposed to be a parallel of, but I want to try eating it. I do not know if it will taste good, and if it does not, I'll stop, but I want to take a bite out of its blubbery body. After all, it is not a poison type, so why not try eating one? Number 1. Remember when I said Appleton was the newest entry to the list? That was only partially true. The number 1 slot also goes to a Pokemon from the Galar region. Alcremie in its normal form is basically just whipped cream. Whipped cream is pretty good on pie, ice cream, and even on its own, but Alcremie goes even further beyond. Depending on the day of the week, the year of the Chinese zodiac it currently is, what planets are currently aligned, and how many years it's been since the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, its previous form, Milcery, can evolve into 9 different flavors. These include vanilla, ruby, matcha, mint, lemon, salted, ruby swirl, caramel, and rainbow swirl. The cherry on top? The Pokemon can Gigantamax into a massive 5-tier cake. Gigantamax Alcremie can fire missiles of cream totaling 100,000 kilocalories each, absolutely, completely, and utterly slathering the enemy in its thick, sweet cream. While Alcremie may not be healthy to eat on its own, it could be supplemented with vitamins and minerals to solve world hunger in the most delicious way possible. I'm Gaming Top 10, and the one Pokemon I would not want to eat is a Graveler.